Good evening and welcome to episode 146 of the Chairsofters Show with me, Adam Ailey, and a familiar face for most of you. If you've been around in the airsoft world, we have got Mark back with us after nearly 6
After a
years.
very long hiatus. Yes, I've been gone for a while.
I was looking through before we came on air to when Mark was actually on, and it was within our first 6 months of the show actually being the show. So it's been a long time, to say the least. I think that was after the first EWA we arranged that.
It was a long time, but if it was only in the first 6 months, I would like to say maybe I'm part of the OG club. I'm just saying,
You are. I'll have to get some patches made for the OGs that were within.
Yes, the year one gang.
Yeah, year one. 52 patches. That's easy done.
Yes.
So some people may not have come across you. So if you could just give a quick introduction of yourself.
Hi, my name is Mark, the artist formerly known as Mark from Redwolf, now Mark from Laylax. You may have seen me on certain places on the internet if you're anywhere interested in this hobby sport thing we do as airsoft. I used to be our main presenter for Redwolf for quite some time. I took over after Tim. Had some big shoes to fill. Hopefully, I did all right in that last endeavor that I was at. After that, I moved over to Japan. I worked for Laylax, the parts maker for many parts that you may be familiar with, such as Prometheus and Nine Ball and so on and so forth. I still do a lot of videos and media work for them. And now I am the operations manager and still kind of do the same media stuff for Laylax USA. So long story short.
It's been a hell of a few years for you since...
It has.
Since you were last on. It's gone Redwolf.
Yeah. Laylax, and then now here in the US. I mean, earlier in the pre-show, we were talking about I did a country move twice in the span of a year. Crazy.
Was it Japan and then back into the US?
It was Hong Kong, then Japan, then the US. So I guess, that was 3 locations in the span of 1 year.
Yeah.
I don't wish that upon anybody. Like
I can imagine that messed with you a little bit.
It's exciting, but not a fun time.
Cool. So before we go on to Laylax and SHOT Show as well, because you've just come back from SHOT Show.
Yes.
A couple of little bits of a Chairsofter news. Insert the sound effect here. Private game. We've now actually smashed it over the weekend. I don't know what happened, but we've only got 34 tickets left now. So, no more bullshit excuses.
But
people have been paid by now, so 34 spaces left. Get booked on.
They're going to go quick now.
Here. If you need the details, speak to me, Adam, Ailey.
One of us.
Yeah. I think Mark should fly over.
I mean, if you want, you just won't be able to.
You can ask Mark. He won't just say.
I would love to. Just this is a bad time, But I would love to.
Are you going to EWA? I mean, you could just extend that trip.
Oh man, I wish I could. There has been actually funny you say that. Like we've actually talked a lot about making a return to EWA, but not this year. This year we have a lot of ground game that we got to cover. Here in the US, and this is the first full year that we're going to be here. We came back last year and the operation started in May. So this is going to be the first full year, so we really got to play our ground game pretty strong this year, but hopefully in the near future. Don't quote me on that. I don't call the shots.
Cool. So hopefully next year then we'll get Mark over to the UK. We'll just have to arrange another private game and try not to arrange it right on top of Christmas so no one books on for weeks and I have a minor aneurysm. The other bit is... the other little bit of news we've got is Naked Josh, who some of you may have seen on our Instagrams. Not necessarily fully naked, but partially. He has now agreed to join the team in the background to help us get our Discord set up that I've been meaning to do for years. So that will be coming very soon, and we will pass out details in the coming weeks so people can join and get involved from the ground up and help us build it, really. Help us build it up. Yeah. Oh yeah,
that deserves a patch by itself. Naked Josh, the IT guy, love it.
So for you, Mark, as well, because you haven't come across Naked Josh, if he has his shirt on past the first 20 minutes of a game, something's wrong.
Yeah, he's like ill or something.
Oh, I thought this was like going to be like a kind of like a naked snake, solid snake kind of a thing, but he really does like, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he does literally. Yeah. I can remember the year before last, it was -6 a game day. Justin's camera died, and he was still running around shirtless.
Love it.
So yeah,
peak male.
Yeah, hardcore.
Adam using the cup I've got here from Dan Chesney.
I was going to point it out at some point. He's in love with it. He hasn't put it down since.
Evening, Fergie and Chesney, and anyone else watching as well. If you have any questions for Mark, please jump in as we go through.
Please do.
So let's go to Laylax.
Yes.
Very different to what you were doing before. In some respects, you know, you're more in the background now. You're not in the limelight as such as you were when you were at Redwolf. I suppose really the first question is, what brought the change about?
So, interesting point of view, right? So I wouldn't say I'm not so much more in the background. It's a really weird, not weird. It's a different position that they have me in, right? So like actually in towards the end of my career in Redwolf, and just kind of set that up. There was really nothing bad that happened between Redwolf and I, where I decided that it was time for me to move on. It's just, I got to the point of my career with Redwolf where I felt like I've hit the ceiling, you know, and it's not a bad thing. I could have stayed. I could have just enjoyed what I was doing, and I really had a lot of fulfillment doing what I was doing with Redwolf, and not just in regards to the media side, but later on, like I think right during when the pandemic hit, Redwolf also revamped the website. If you guys remember the old website where it was like all black and red, and it was old. It was a product from the early 2000s. But yeah, the Redwolf website during the start of the pandemic, they went through a big change, and I kind of seized the opportunity to offer a little bit more help in terms of how to set up the web page. So even at Redwolf at that time, you know, what we were doing was, what I was doing outside of the media stuff is I was also managing a lot of the front end stuff that you see on the website, like the web page layout, how to write the descriptions, the font we would use, how we would input the like embed the pictures in the videos, and how we would just, again, page layout stuff. So I was already kind of transitioning more towards like a front and back office kind of style of work. And so just it got to the point where I realized, you know, I want to be able to do some things for myself in life. And I was getting to an age, I'm 36 now, and I didn't want to get to a point where I'm too old to go for one last adventure in life. So towards the end of the pandemic, I felt like, you know, I've paid my dues. I want to go and take some time off and, you know, spend some time for me. And so I did. I resigned my position at Redwolf. I gave them plenty of time to try to look for someone else. I still try to support them as best I can right now. And I took some personal time to go to Japan. And when I was there, you know, they straight up offered me a position. It's like, hey, you know, you're not really tied in with anybody anymore. How would you like to, you know, work with us? I've known the people at Laylax for forever. I mean, just as personal friends. So to get an opportunity to, number one, live in Japan, and number two, just, you know, to work for a company with such a name in our industry, it was an opportunity I couldn't say no to. So when I moved over there, my job duties in Japan were very similar to what I did for Redwolf, but they also kind of gave me free reign to help run their social media and to increase our reach, which was great. I mean, I remember when I took over, we were at 5K, and 6 months in, we were at 8, and you know, just to see, even Instagram plays dirty games, but you know, just to kind of see us still growing and still doing stuff, it's very encouraging. And then they tapped me to come back to the US, which is great. I mean, it was a blessing in disguise because I've always kind of wanted to make the move back here eventually to be closer to family and stuff, you know. Yeah, I would love it. So that's kind of long story short, it's like the move over.
Fergie's coming in the comments saying if you play some of Mark's old YouTube videos back at 1.25 speed, he sounds English.
Oh no! I mean, oh yes! I finally I can sound intelligent. Is that what you're trying to say?
So yeah, as you said, it's sort of like you're sort of back home, as it were. So it's nice to see. And it, as you sort of said, Laylax is one of those names that everyone's going to have come across at some point. But I mean, for me personally, in the UK, it's sort of like the name was always there, but you didn't really hear of it as much for a few years. Which I suppose is where you've sort of come in as well to try and help get that name back out there and regrow the brand again as well.
Yes.
And I mean, you're everywhere now. I think I opened up Instagram today at work on my lunch break and I saw about 3 times Laylax there. It's like, I know that guy. Didn't he used to work for Redwolf?
Funny, I still get people who ask me that. Like, you know, we're like, hey, what's the next video like? I'm like, parts? You know, stuff like that. Interesting.
So how many dollars would you have made if you'd have had that at SHOT Show?
Oh my goodness! Just this last SHOT Show, if I had a dollar for every time someone asked me, "Oh, Marck from Redwolf, like, what's the next?" Like, I'd be a very rich man. I'd be a very. I mean, you know, I don't mind it a lot. Like some people, and bless them, you know, some people they come up and they have a long conversation with me about Redwolf stuff, and then somewhere through the conversation they'll realize, oh wait, you're not there anymore, and they feel a little bad for it, and I don't blame them. It's nothing like I don't have any bad blood or I don't have any ill feelings towards Redwolf. I mean, the guys gave me an incredible platform and allowed me to be where I am at today, and nothing but good things with them, like, to be honest. So it's just I think it's always funny where people kind of like they look and be like, "You're Marck from Redwolf." Now I can actually say, "No, I'm not."
It's also good in a way because all the people that know you from Redwolf now, you can sort of take those people across to sort of Laylax and sort of be like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
expand even further, can't you?
Yeah, I get some comments in our current videos. They'd be like, "Hey, you're that guy from Redwolf. Nice to see you're still on YouTube." And you know, and it puts a smile on my face. And I think for our Japan team, where you know we're very successful when we do content inside Japan, but you know, trying to break through into like the international market it's a little harder for them. So just to kind of see like their views start to pick up and be more diversified with more English comments, and you know, to them, oh, the foreigners are subscribing, and you know, it's just it rejuvenated the team back in Japan. And every time I go back, you know, we dedicate a day to just film a bunch of silly shorts, you know, do a bunch of photography and stuff like that, which is always fun. You know, it always brings some extra life to what we do. So it recharges my batteries, my creative batteries, and you know, me being there also helps recharge there. So I think it's a win-win for everybody, really.
So obviously you're straight off the back of SHOT coming to us. Clearly you've evaded the SHOT flu, SHOT plague, whatever you want to call it, this year.
Safe. I'm good.
We need to get a Marck safe made up for you.
That's right.
Like the Facebook sort of.
That's right. Marck safe from the SHOT Show flu.
So, with regards to Laylax this year, did you guys just go to sort of meet people and get the name back out there as opposed to showing this year?
So Laylax has been working with some of the bigger retailers and distributors here in the US for quite some time, such as like EVIC or, you know, Airsoft Megastore, Lancer Tactical, as well as a lot of other smaller, more local stores with different branches like Modern Airsoft, Extreme Airsoft. People stateside would know some of these, and of course individual stores as well. But we did go to exhibit some products like with certain partners. So we had some of our new things at the EVIC booth as well as at the Lancer Tactical booth. So it was not just a, hey, here we are, let's talk, but we also wanted to kind of show product. One of the products that we showed this year was our full auto BB loader. Excuse me. Was our auto BB loader. I keep on saying full auto BB loader. But it's our auto BB loader, and it was pretty cool. It's something that is not in barrels or buckings or whatever, but everybody got a kick out of it because it looks like a little lunchbox, and people liked it. I wish I could show you guys one, but all our samples are handed out. So, yeah, I don't know if you can pull one up.
I was going to say, we were talking. You did actually genuinely run around your office looking for one before we came live.
I did. I did. Yeah, it's for those of you who have been familiar with our Laylax product lineup. That's actually a good idea. Pimp your riff. Sorry, I just read that and I thought it was pretty good. But
we heard you like riffs, so we put a riff on your riff because we heard you like riffs.
I know that's a good video idea. Somebody should do that. But yeah, we did have our auto BB loader. So if anybody has been a fan or followed the brand for any time, we used to have an electric BB loader. We called it the Quick Gun, which is kun in Japanese means like boy, or like young man. With those who enjoy the animes will hear it like something kun. So that thing was pretty cool, but the capacity was a little low. It only came with one tip that you can feed your magazines with. So this one is a redesign. It looks like a little box. It holds 1,300 rounds. It has 4 different tips you can do. You can feed your regular AEG magazines, pistol mags, GBBR mags, as well as shotgun mags. So it just makes life so that much easier for everybody. Accessing the battery compartment is also really easy. You slide the bottom down. It's 4 AAA batteries. So we took a lot of time. Actually, I've seen the product in prototyping stages last year already. But we knew that it was going to be something that a lot of people wanted, simply due to the fact that it was compact and you can take it to the field with you and it's not going to take up too much of your space. People who have workbenches is going to really enjoy it because it's just unobtrusive. And the fact that it can also load gas blowback magazines. Exactly. That's the one. Yep.
Thank you, Land Warrior.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott.
So yeah, for those watching the stream, this is what Mark's actually talking about. Sorry, yes. I've just realised it moves around as I move my mouse up and down. It's really annoying.
So the top part, as you can see right there, there's these 2 little buttons on the side. You actually push it down, and then you can pull the top cap down, and that'll expose the tip for you to then load your magazine. Again, it's exchangeable with 4 different tips onto it. There's a grub screw that comes with the packaging, so you can kind of lock it in place. And that's it. That's all you got to do. Just stick your magazine in there, and it will load.
Cool. There's even arrows to show you things.
Yep. So those are the 4 different tips that you have. Yep.
I'm trying to do it slowly so people can see as well. I'm very aware that every time I move my mouse, everything moves with it.
Yep.
And then BB's inside.
1,300 rounds.
Happy days.
Compared to our old one, which is under 1,000.
And then 8 mags is saying there. 850 round mags.
Yep.
Boom. I think I might have to get one of those.
Yes, you should.
Something a bit different to the Odins or the many knockoff equivalents of the Odins that we've seen over the years.
I mean, it serves different purposes, right? I mean, there's always going to be a purpose for the Odin. You just have you have to wind it. This is really for really ideal for people who just want to in and out of games. You have a lot of magazines. It does take time for you to wind. I wouldn't take our our auto BB loader, let's say out in the field if you're doing like a milsim game. But yeah, if you're looking at something that's just like there and you're coming off of, maybe CQB, or like even if it's an outdoor game, you're coming off, just go ahead and load it and away you go.
Dan Chesney in with a question. He said he has one of the old battery mag loaders and it's called the BBs due to the revolving metal bar. Does this one work better?
Yes.
Cool.
This one
Nice,
works
simple
better.
answer.
I think it's a little bit more consistent too with the loading. The internal design is revamped, so it has nothing to do with how we did the old one. So this is a completely redesigned from the ground up BB loader compared to our old one. I mean, like, I can't say anything about anyone else's, but compared to our old one.
Cool. So I suppose the last thing on the brief Laylax is, what else have you guys got coming up, or is it all top secret at the moment?
So we do have some things that are coming up for 2023, 2024, sorry. It is 2024. Woof. So for this year, we do have some things that are coming up, but I'll let that trickle out when time comes. But there are two other things I would like to talk about really quick. We do, and these are not new, but it's just something that we have talked about last year that are finally here. We have our high speed, like our sniper system. It's a split slide design for the high kappa. Great for those who want to go fast. It comes with a short stroke kit and a redesigned nozzle. Great. And also for the HPA boys out there, our Laylax HPA high kappa adapter is ready to go. Not my thing, but a lot of people like it. So, but yeah, if for you guys who like HPA and sticking an M4 mag in your high kappa, we are making an adapter that. so it is a design that we did from the ground up. Again, we just wanted to make something that had our fingerprints on it. Functionality wise, it's the same as other M4 adapters. I just feel like just ergonomically it works a little bit better than some of the other ones out there. So that's kind of what we have coming up. Not really like a new product. The only big new thing that we have right now is our auto loader, and then we have a bunch of stuff that we have slated for the rest of the year.
Cool. And we will share those out when Mark kicks me and says, "Can you share the shit out of this for me?"
Oh, absolutely.
I suppose naturally we now move on to SHOT Show 24, which finished. Was it Friday? It finished, or Thursday last week?
I've lost track.
It was Friday was the last day.
Yeah. Because unlike EWA, which runs over the weekend, this one goes through the week, doesn't it? So
it's like Monday is industry day at the range, and then starts on Tuesday till Friday.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I went years ago once to SHOT, and then I can never remember. I just remember he was over the weekend.
It's a blur. SHOT Show is a blur.
Yeah, he's not wrong. For those who've never been, it is literally like you just lose track of time completely, and then all of a sudden it's like nighttime. You're like, I swear it was like when I got here.
Yep, absolutely, all the time, every time. And then you go out, and then it's Vegas. And then so you're out till 4, and then you come back and you do it again, and you're in the hall and there's no light, and you just
Insert annual Top Golf post here. It seems to be the one. Everyone goes to Top Golf every year.
It's fun, man. It's like
it's not if you can kick them further than you can hit them. But that's just because I've never been a golf person personally. So we were having a little bit of a talk about this year's show. Both myself and you and me with Adam and Ailey in our group chat earlier. And personally, I feel like there wasn't as much airsoft content as you would have seen in previous years this year. I've always found it's never been like the major show for airsoft. That tends to be more EWA, that you get the bigger booths, the bigger companies. All the companies seem to turn up. But this year just seemed exceptionally quiet for myself. I'm not sure how it was for you on the ground this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I have to agree with you in certain aspects. It was pretty quiet. Like there wasn't a lot of major product announcement. There was. I mean, there's G&G has a cool shotgun. EMG is making the Genesis shotgun from John Wick. I mean, but the vibe that I got this year from SHOT Show is like there's two different vibes. Number one, I think a lot of people felt like this year was going to be very similar to last, where last year was kind of everybody getting back in the swing of things. It's kind of okay to come back out now, post pandemic. So last year was, compared to previous years of SHOT Show, kind of dead. And I think a lot of people, like, just judging by their booth designs and how they just kind of show things, I think a lot of it, they felt like it was going to be the same. But this year almost felt like normal SHOT Show. There was a lot of foot traffic. There was a lot of people. It was at least, what felt to me, at least double of what last year's was. So I think it was an interesting kind of seeing that people looked a little bit like, oh my goodness, like there's where all these people come from, a little overwhelmed. Second thing is, like, I talked to a lot of the people like in the real steel world, and even for them, because of what's going on overseas, a lot of their product is kind of geared towards shipping it that way, Ukraine or Israel. So a lot of the companies that you would traditionally see, like maybe a lot more innovation from, they are doing a lot of their production to be shipped outside. Like an example is, a friend of mine works for a company that makes ammunition. Last year, most of their stock was sent overseas, and this year they finally had to refocus manufacturing to actually have a portion of their ammo dedicated for the U.S. market. So it's interesting to see. There's a lot of other cool, smaller stuff that's not really airsoft related. There's a lot of innovation in like the night vision space, mounts, or different mounts at a cheaper price point. You're seeing the proliferation of 3D printing in the night vision space. So people like Nocturne Industries are really leading the charge in this regard. There's some other cool stuff in, let's say, in the real steel world, like Flux got some cool stuff. But in terms of airsoft wise, I think EWA is probably the better show to do your big airsoft announcements. Not saying there wasn't any cool things at SHOT.
Yeah, we've got a few things that we wanted to go through. So we'll go into Mark's picks first, just because one of the things that you mentioned that you liked, sort of talking on the real steel, you will get some airsofters that want it and will probably buy it and then get upset when they lose however many thousands of dollars they've sunk into this thing. But you know it's going to happen. This was relating to this little optic here, which is a Hollow Sun night vision optic. If I remember
so
correctly.
Hollow Sun's doing some stuff, man. Like, Hollow Sun is out here doing some stuff. And so last year, I'm sure you guys seen the Hollow Sun thermal overlay that they had on their red dot. Cool, very cool. But their night vision one is even cooler. So their night vision one, I think, makes more sense, and functionality wise is super easy. I mean, there's a front cap. So on the full size unit, right? So this is their pistol unit. This is the one that they have for the reflex sight, where they actually have a module that they mount where the flashlight is, and it links to your reflex sight, and they do like an overlay. But the big one, the actual almost EOTech looking one, like where the thermal would sit on the top, that's kind of where the night vision is. The functionality is very easy to use. So this is the one that they displayed in conjunction with Flux at the Agency Arms booth. But the big thermal one, very cool. Functionality is very easy. So and to Andy's point, if you get your thing shot out, you're kind of done. But to get to the night vision functionality, you actually take the front protective cap and you flip it over your screen, like your glass. You flip the cap over your glass, and then you're like in night vision mode. And the moment you flip the cap down, and you're just back on the glass mode, like just with the red dot or a reticle or whatever you want. That super cool. But too bad, like they haven't. I don't think they've even shipped their thermal one yet, so they're kind of teasing us with a bunch of cool stuff. But yeah, that. I thought that was really nice. From Holosun.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, like last year, it was all about the EOTech style thermal. I think everyone posted a video about that. It'll be interesting to follow them for sure. With regards to practicality for Airsoft, no,
for sure.
But it's still cool kit. So
yeah, definitely cool.
Oh yeah, very cool. I mean, like you're right. I mean, even with the front cap flipping up over the glass, sure, it's going to protect your glass, but your big sensor is where the money is at, right? So you get that shot out. I don't know what I'm going to do for you.
Yeah, I was going to say, and it's sod's law that you'll go straight to the first game out with it, and it'll get shot out almost instantaneously. You know,
oh, absolutely.
Where we tend to play at the jail, that's gone. That is well and truly deceased. Your site.
You guys have like Vortex and a bunch of those guys over there in the UK, right? Like, do you guys have like lifetime warranty for damage as well?
Yeah. I think there was
times ourselves. So.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I had my Crossfire, I shot at the jail, and literally the first couple of games, I got it shot out, and I was like, "Oh my god, what am I going to do?" So I sent it off, and it was like literally, I sent it the one day, they received it the next, the following day I had a brand new one.
Yes, guys, this is why you spend a little bit of extra money to get the real one.
I remember one guy got one. His sniper rifle got run over, and it completely crushed the optic, and they replaced it because it was accidental damage. Things like that.
How?
He had it leaning up against his car in the car park at a woodland site, and it slipped over. If I remember,
I would cry.
Possibly, it was literally like that all over. It was just like a pancake.
There's one they kept. I think it had been in a fire or something. Or
yeah, I think that might have been the one that was deliberately set fire to, so they didn't replace it. But I'd swear by Vortex. I think my record was either Chris from the UK, who we need to get on the show as well. Actually, he was either at the game or they phoned him up, and the guy had it shot out in the first game and had one by the second game day. Because
you can't get better than that, really, can you?
Nah.
Yeah, as Mark said, spend that extra little bit of money on a decent optic. I know it's not for everyone, but I'd rather spend that little bit of money on an optic than going through, say, 5 fake EOTech replicas that are going to get shot out almost instantly anyway.
That's very true. I mean, like, it's so cliche to say, just, buy better quality, it'll help you in the long run. But it's very, very true. I mean, like, I don't want to get on a tangent on this, but just even a small thing like, I'm sure you guys have used like repo RMRs, right?
Yeah.
So like I run a real RMR on my P320, and it's a day and night different in the fact that just how the glass is made and how your dot doesn't warp when you look at it a certain way. Your dot doesn't bleed out so much. There's a lot of little things that go along with it outside of like the great warranty that you'll get. It is really, really worth the money. I think there's a lot of ways to kind of be mindful of your budget, but if you have one place that I would recommend for you to spend a little bit, definitely worth it.
John Mack saying Ironsight gang in the comments. I mean, that is an alternative if that's your jam.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm blind as about that.
It's all good. Irons are good.
they have their place.
Yes.
I grew up shooting with iron sight, so for me, it's like I can actually use
Me
nice
too.
things now. So yeah, so we've got that. You've spoken about your BB loader. So G&G.
G&G.
Big shout out to the
G&G.
guys at Airsoft Action for this photo.
Yes.
So it's a bullpup shotgun. You can't replace
G&G.
the look of that.
Yes, look at that thing. G&G with the sneaky surprise for the show. Like, a lot of people didn't know this was coming to the show. I didn't even know it was going to be there. They kind of did like their own private thing with some of their dealers and some of their people, and so all the dealers came up to me and said, "Yo, you see this? You see this?" And yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I try to get them to spill the beans to me a little bit. Like, they're saying, like, "Hey, can you imagine if you actually pulled the trigger, BBs come out and there's only one inner barrel?" So he was like, Ryan, the guy from G&G, was telling us, like, you can actually single trigger pull, and you'll get a blast of BBs that come out. I forgot like how many at a time, I think 3 and 6. And all you needed was one trigger pull, and there's only one inner barrel. I'm like, wow. So I kind of made the joke, right? I'm like, oh, wow. Is it kind of like a glorified Flak 10? And he goes, no, we'll do better than that. I'm like, so interesting. I'm interested to see what this is all about.
It's funny because you mentioned the Flak 10. There's actually a comment right at the top on this screen grab that says the Flak was ambitious but not reliable. I hope they can achieve the 5 to 10 round shots reliably. There is more to that, but that sort of sums it up because you mentioned the Flak 10.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Very futuristic looking, isn't it? It's something a bit different again.
Yes. I mean, I think Airsoft now, like our hobby has progressed to the point where I would say nothing. We don't always have to go for the cloner look, right?
Yeah.
Great. Love it. I am one myself, but we don't have to continually just be like, oh, it's another URGI. Oh, it's another, Mark 18. Or like, oh, it's another MCMR,
I was going to say, to use the words from ASG, there's so many popular platforms you can have out there. It is nice to see these new innovative designs coming out.
It is. It really is.
And I think that's what's going to keep people buying new things, especially at the moment where money isn't as readily available as it is, especially I don't know how things are stateside, but over in the UK, we've still got quite a bad cost of living crisis going on, and everything's incredibly expensive. So people are spending their money a bit more sensibly. I'm not buying anywhere near as much as I used to, but that's like responsibilities have got in the way of that as well, and other things.
Just little
same thing for me. Yeah.
Ailey, that's a way to get yourself uninvited if Jenny hears that.
You were implying it. I'm just saying what you were thinking.
I just said sensible things. I've got a mortgage now. I've got bills to pay now. Things like that.
Yeah. It is. Yes, I think everybody is in a position where you have to be a little bit wiser with how we spend our money, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's really, really cool to kind of see people come up with different designs and different things. I think that's really nice to see that kind of direction. It's very refreshing. I remember when everybody was still doing cloner rifles back in the day, where everybody had to have this was even prior to the URGI days, when everybody's like, oh, it's got to be a Mark 18, it's got to be a Mark 12, oh, is that clone correct, and all this. And then the flood of like the civilian rifles came out, like the BCMs, the Radiant arms, and all that. And I remember everybody knocked it. Oh, why would you go there? Who cares? It's a civvy rifle. Who cares? That's not what they use in whatever special forces group. Oh, now look at them. Now they're all doing it, right? Now everybody's rocking some kind of BCM. Everybody's doing some kind of something, throwing the Geisley rail on there. Oh, we want the Noveski now, like, cool. I love it. And so now hopefully I think it's the best time for companies like G&G or whoever, Strike Industries, and their kind of stuff, to really make that resurgence of now, okay, pushing the envelope in terms of design. Because I think, newer players who have no concept about airsoft, they come in, they want to buy it because it's cool. And I think now it's cool to want something sci-fi and different because it's not cheesy and hokey anymore. It actually works. So it's good. It makes me happy.
Or on another thought, which brings us nicely onto the next one, something from the movies, which brings us nicely onto the EMG offering.
Look at that.
I saw it as both the Genesis and the Gen 12. So which one is it? First off,
I think this is whatever the one in the movie is. So a lot of people ask, "Yo, why the key mod? What's going on with the key mod?" So EMG and then their discussion with Terran Tactical is they wanted to produce the one that was in the movie. So that's why it's key mod. And the cool thing is, this particular one you're seeing is working in conjunction with Wolverine. So Wolverine is making this specific one. So I think it's really, really cool.
Cool. I'm getting told off here. I can't deal with it, Ailey. Sorry, she's moaning at me in the private chat. I'm just trying to find a way to the pictures that doesn't show everything else as well. Because I'm getting moaned at here.
Anyways, yeah, the shotgun's cool. It's made in conjunction with Wolverine Airsoft. So if you guys like HPA, it can run tank and line. If you don't want HPA, I think you can also do like CO2 internal. And it's
all about
it's going to be a quality product. Like if you guys know HPA, you're going to know that it's a very quality product.
Right. So please just bear with me a second. Was there anything else that took your fantasy this year then, Mark?
In terms of the airsoft side, I would say seeing some of the redesigns. Oh yes, seeing that Daniel Defense now owns the Hudson, the H9, and then the redesigned H9. 2 thumbs up. I've always loved that gun. I've always loved that pistol. And now that Daniel Defense now has the Hudson, it's called the Daniel 9 now, I think. The Daniel H9, something like that. And it's cool. They redesigned that front end. It's not so RoboCop looking anymore. I kind of liked it, but a lot of people didn't. But yeah, it's cool. Love it. And the what's that called? The new Daniel Defense, the Wrist 3 was mounted on some guns that Evic was having, and so that was pretty cool too to kind of see that they've already got on with doing the Wrist 3, and I think that's going to be a pretty big one for the scene this year.
Cool. I'm just trying to download the photos as we speak. Apologies, you can tell we're doing this live.
Yeah, I didn't save them.
Ailey's friends got into our group chat and ruined it, so we're going to have to try this another way. We'll just download these as we go. So
the other one I liked, there's the new Wolverine MTW, but it's the Daniel Defense Mark 18 one. That looks pretty cool.
It's always good to see, like, these really good brands finally get some licensing deals in, so we can start to see a little bit more proliferation of that. That's
was that this one, Adam?
Yes, that's it.
Hey, it's Rich.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about this while I go and download all the photos that Ailey's friends ruined.
I think it is literally just an MTW with Daniel Defense rail, isn't it? Ultimately,
I think so.
I mean,
yeah, it's MTW with Daniel
doing
Defense
that
license.
A current MTW. But yeah, I really like the look of it.
Yeah, it's good to see that you're going to be able to get these options right out of the box now. I mean,
Yeah,
the Mark 18 look is probably the only quad rail rifle out there that's still, I would say, like I don't want to say culturally relevant, but it's still the only like quad rail rifle out there that's still very popular, still very trendy to use.
Yeah.
I think some of the old, just the regular M4A1 is kind of dead, but yeah, it's cool.
It's all sort of keyboard,
yes,
M-lock, all that kind of thing. So it's nice to see the old school.
Yeah.
Pest literally saying in the chat, who needs keymod and M-lock anyway?
Yeah, exactly. Nice to have something different.
You almost forget where everything started with these things as well. It's nice to see people go back to sort of like that rail. Just reminds me of 416 Dev Group, albeit much sleeker than that rail. But Keith's saying nice to see the correct colorway on the rail as well, and also Riz is king.
Riz is king. Love it.
So that is that. Another
quad rails making a comeback, boys.
We go on to.
Who would have thought?
Shit! Why is it done that?
I love how people were back in when quad rail was all we could get. It was like, man, I hate this thing. It's heavy. My hands are so delicate. It eats into my hands. Sorry, I've made that complaint a couple times. I had to find something, right? And now, like, oh man, I don't like this M-lock stuff. It's so dumb. Give me the quad rails back.
And with that, normal service is resumed. As we go to another Terran tactical offering.
Yes, another Terran tactical offering. This is the MPX. I think they've had their MPX for some time, but being able to kind of get it out of the box, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't actually heard about it, but then I've not really. Part of me was a bit like, at first, I got one of the Combat Masters when they first came out, and then it was like, actually, the Terran tactical hype, and it was sort of, it didn't live up to the expectations I had for it at the time, so I sort of got put off of their products for a while. But it seems everyone is having a go at the moment, so we'll probably see loads more Terran tactical products in the coming years.
To be honest, I like the look. I'm not I don't know why they went with that particular stock. I mean, I know because it's an AEG and you need to run,
It's a bit chunky.
Actually, it doesn't even need to run because the batteries are front wired on the MPX. I should know. I have one in the other room. But yeah, I don't know why they went. So BCM classifies this as a gunfighter stock type B. I don't know why they went with this one. Their type A is better. It's the slimmer one that comes with the GBBR. That one is, I think it's a little nicer, but it is what it is. But you're right, man. It is a little chunky.
Yeah, let's see what the chat thinks as well.
Someone asked me earlier, who am I rooting for the Super Bowl? Let me tell you, I cannot bear to see more Taylor Swift. So whoever, I guess right now it's going to be the 49ers.
That'll cheer Pest up.
Chesney.
Was Chesney that asked about it. My bad.
I just know that Pest was referring to them as the 40 Whiners. Finally, on the Terran Tactical, we've got a Combat Master as well.
Yep.
Which I'm assuming is another EMG based on the optics that's on top of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I never really bought into the Terran Tactical hype. A little bit biased for me. I mean, I'm not just saying coming from Redwolf, but I've always had a personal relationship with the guys from Nighthawk. So when it comes to 2011s and 1911s, they are my number one, with Staccato being a number two. And I've shot some of the real TTIs. Great guns. Don't get me wrong. Shoots nice, very smooth. It's almost feeling like you're shooting an airsoft gun. But just I've never really bought into the hype. Cool,
it looks a bit practical pistol shooting, that one, doesn't it?
Yes.
The length of it.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're going for anyways. Because
Yes,
that's what he does, right?
Do we know who the OEM is on this one this time?
No, excuse me. I think so, but I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. We'll find out.
To speculate.
Yeah. I just know they've gone for some manufacturers in the past who have maybe dropped the ball a little bit.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes and how this one performs moving forward. If they try to up the game a bit with it, as I said, I've got one of the original EMGs. It was and keep saying it as well in the comments. It sort of says the Terran tactical stuff should have been made way more premium. It's been made to specs that make it too easily available, if that makes sense. Well, it does, because they're obviously trying to make it so as it can get out there in the hands of players and they can have that gun that they've seen in the film. But maybe the quality hasn't followed it. And as Keith was saying, they're everywhere and it just doesn't feel as special as you'd hope getting a pistol like that.
I think the issue that they probably ran into was something that they could have taken a page out of Redwolf. When we did our Nighthawk stuff, we always launched the top end first, and then we would fill it in with something else on the entry level. So, what I would have done if I was EMG, I would have taken maybe the Combat Master, or like maybe the new Vipers, or the Sand Viper, the Pit Viper, and all that. Keep that as their ultra high-end $1,000 gun, and then have one other one as the entry-level model. Maybe not the movie one, maybe another Terran offering. So there's always the one you see in the movie is the premium one, and then you have an entry-level one, right? That's a little bit different. Because if you take that same mindset and you'd be like, okay, now everybody's got an entry-level one that's more affordable that can get into the hands of the players. Then you want to take that same one and now fancy it up with like steel and it's CNC'd and all this. Yeah. People got it already. Like, there's no point to do so. Like, I get the rationale. I totally think it should be more premium as well. But now that they actually have a more fleshed out lineup, I don't see why they won't do that going forward.
It'll be interesting to watch and see if they do go that way moving forward. I'm going to follow it for sure. I'm sure the other guys will as well.
Oh, for sure.
I'm just trying to make sure I'm up to date with my screenshots.
I really like Pit Viper, don't you?
I do. I can't lie.
Well, here's also another thing. Like, we Laylax, we also make parts for the Combat Masters. So we have inner barrel and I think bucking or inner barrel for sure for the Combat Master. So like if people are wanting to upgrade it, like, we do have some stuff for it.
Worth remembering, and I may have to look into that now. My wallet is going to kill me, but we don't tell Jenny.
Jenny!
Snitches get stitches, AD.
Well done for winning this raffle.
That's the one.
I know someone that did actually say that they'd won a raffle too many times, so when they genuinely won a raffle, their other half didn't believe them. I've got this down as the Daniel Defense Mark 18 Cyma MWS based platform.
Yeah. Yes, this also has the RIS-3 rail on it. Really cool. It's cool to see that new rail kind of out in the wild already. So a cool thing is this, I know for a fact that the EMG SEMA MWS line or MWS system line is pretty good because it's built for an overseas spec. so it can take green gas out of the box. Unlike, of course, normal MWSs stock from Japan can do the same, but over time we always recommend upgrade it to the parts that can allow you to deal with the rigors of green gas. But yeah, this is going to be green gas ready out of the box, which is really good. And plus, being the MWS spec, you can go and add a bunch of other cool parts to it too. So it's an upgradable rifle from the box. So I think that's a really interesting take that EMG is doing for some of their gas blowback rifles. Interesting. I liked it.
Yeah, Simon's always one of those underrated manufacturers, I find, as well. They do produce some decent stuff that will last and go through the test of time, and they don't necessarily get the love that they deserve.
Well, I think nowadays for sure, but I still remember back in the olden days where, like, I'm surprised how this thing survived shipping.
Yeah. It's I mean, I think my first ever was a Cyma MP5 that cost me about £45 back in the day. And
right.
Like you said, that they could be a bit janky, so maybe that was partly why they never took off. But I've got a guy that's got one now, and yeah, what we've got here. Any signs of someone else making a KSG? I'm still looking now. I'm back from the US. Not that I know of.
Not that I know of. I think TM is still the only people making it.
Could be a licensing thing as well. We know everyone's all about their licenses these days.
But EVIC does have the Keltec license.
Yes, they do, don't they? Because didn't they produce the AR, the bullpup AR?
Yes,
Keltec did. Yeah, can't remember the numbers
RDB.
of the name or whatever, but
yeah, the RDB, loved it. I like that gun. It was fun. I like, to this day, I will say that is the only bullpup that I enjoy. The RDB. I'm not even a bullpup guy.
With Cyma again.
Yeah,
just running.
That's the AEG version.
Yeah, that one I quite like the look of because that's got the platinum internals, which if anybody knows the platinum line or what used to be the blue line, I think it was the blue line. They're very good out of the box. So I had one of the blue line MP5s and it was just incredible. So if the platinum line is anything to go by, then this should be a pretty good rifle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think their AEG development is with ICS, judging by like the stock. But yeah, they're it's good. I think it looks way better than the first run that they did with ICS. So whatever they're doing, like this looks way better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to wrap up Adam's choices as well, because I'm just very aware time is getting on. And Mark's probably still got work to do, being stateside.
Fun times.
Very different time. Wine some of the, and Mark has coffee.
Staccato pistols from EMG still, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. Now, I can't really say who makes the staccatos, but they are nice.
Yeah,
they're good. They are
definitely.
They are.
If you like that sort of like practical shooting style look as well, then you've got everything on there. You can put your sights on there. Even just to use on the regular though, really, I'd happily use one of those if I wasn't going to steal Adam's P10.
Andy, it's all about the carry comp, brother. It's all about the comp.
And then we've got one more photo for pistols. Oh yeah, we do the Canic TP9s. Which
the Canic
I don't know.
It's not bad.
I think the looks put me off it a little bit. It doesn't.
I was going to say
as aesthetic for me personally. I suppose this is going to be what we call the Marmite replica, isn't it?
Cross between a Glock and a USP, almost.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With a weird sort of like CZ style slide, but elongated with the way it angles in. when you think back to like the older CZ pistols that were about there.
It's good to see the variety, though. To be honest,
it is nice
good to see the variety. Yeah,
there's so many choices on sidearms now. You know, the people that still go to the still go to just a Glock. I've got two. I'll admit happily. The one I need to get repaired because I love it is actually not even just because you used to work there, but the Redwolf Nighthawk custom. Because it's just an amazing pistol.
Bulletproof. That thing is bomb-proof.
It is literally. I just need to get the seals sorted out in CO2 mags because I can't find CO2 mags for it anywhere these days. So,
KWC mags should work.
KWC mags, cool. I'm getting consumer advice when I'm here. Any sign of an alien pistol riff? Not that I've seen.
There's been a lot of talk about it. Like I think even a couple of years ago, I think when I was still at Redwolf, there was some drawings for it, but that's the extent that I know of, for sure. Yeah, I know there's been talk. Like I remember Clarence from Airsoft Surgeon talked to me about that actually a while ago, like way back.
Airsoft Surgeon. Now there's a name.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Right.
He's become like this mythical sort of this like deity that
bringing back the OGs, man.
Yeah. We never got him on the show actually. If he's still around,
Clarence. Yeah, Clarence is around. He runs a different brand now, CL Custom Projects. You can go and get in touch with him. He's in Taiwan now.
Cool. There's someone we need to get back into. We need to dig out and.
Yes, where all the cool people are in Taiwan.
Yeah. And then Case literally just coming, as you said it, he's working under the CM project design now. But yeah, as we sort of said, like there were some other things that Adam had listed down, but they were like things that were already sort of people knew about, like for example the Crytac Vector gas blowback that seems to be shitting itself as it goes out onto the market at the moment.
We have not heard good things.
Yeah, I know of a UK tech that has had two back already, and they've literally disintegrated on the users. So
I've managed to put my best mate off buying one after what I've heard and seen and what you've said about. So it's like maybe not.
I nearly fell into the hype as well. I was actually considering getting one because. The thing I've noticed as well is those old KWAs have literally nosedived on their prices now. So they've lost about £300-400 off of the price because the Crytacs
now. The KWA resellers out here punching the air.
Literally,
that was my favorite meme. Outside of the one that people were saying it was VFC, I love it.
Yeah. But it's like we said, there wasn't really much that took our attention. Hopefully after EWA we'll see some more stuff that's going to be cool and worth talking about.
It'd be nice if people have been saving themselves for that and they're going to do some launches or whatever.
I think the hype train from MOA is going to show up at EWA and you're going to see all the goodies,
Yeah.
That was at MOA. We'll probably see it there.
So is this maybe sort of like the beginning to the end for Airsoft at SHOT? Are they going to focus more on EWA and MOA in the future?
I don't think so. I mean, there's been a big push for how to put it. Talking to a lot of real steel shooters, right? A lot of them are actually now turning around on the idea of wanting to use Airsoft as a training option here in the US, which is, for me, almost unheard of. Like how many people are wanting to get into it. It usually was always Europeans who wanted to use it as a training solution, right? But I think now with, so I think we're now with all the things with what's happening overseas, ammo pricing being high or just unavailable, right? I think it's starting to dawn on them that while it may not be still the best force-on-force application, tool for the application, for everything else, it does the job.
it's good for drills and all that kind of thing.
Yes, movement.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about getting hurt when you're doing that, you know. And I think that was a lot of people coming to like the Lancer Tactical booth talking about that. I talked about it with a lot of other shooters, police departments, SWAT teams. They're saying like, you know, oh, we get it that, you know, you can't do everything with airsoft, but at least the very basic, like, okay, we're going to run a kill house with magazines in, and we're going to go, instead of just going click, 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 going, you can actually fire the BB. And if anything happens, no one's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool concept for people here to finally catch on to. And, you know, I think being taken a little bit more seriously outside of just being toys, I think it's always good.
And that also extends the life of the sport as well, because if they're getting into it, using it for training, then it's potentially less likely to get, I don't know, for want of a better word, banned or restricted because they're using it for training. It's like, well, actually, you know, the sport carry on because this is actually really useful for us.
Yeah.
Would
I mean,
then, sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, go ahead, Andy.
I was just going to say, would it then? Could you foresee then potentially it go the other way and it actually expand the market greatly as people want more of their own sort of platforms to train with?
Yeah, I think it definitely will expand the market, and I think at the end of the day, it just provides another option for police officers or for people who are just wanting to pick up a little bit more training. Military and stuff like that. Just have the extra option out there for them. You know, I get where Daniel's coming from, right? You know, like we have enough shoot first, ask questions later. You know, that's why I said like that's why a lot of them, like for example, I don't know if you know him, Milspec Mojo. He lives pretty close to me, 30 minutes away. And he made a point talking about airsoft as a force-on-force training application. And his point that he made was you need to be very careful when you use it as a force-on-force tool because it can be gamified very quickly, because there's you want to win and it turns into a game, right? So what he was saying when him and I were talking about this, what he was saying is it's a great tool for when you run, let's say you want to run a kill house or you want to run something where you can actually fire the pistol or the rifle, because it allows you to simulate a little bit more of that realism where you can actually pull the trigger and something comes out the other end, right? And if something happens and you pop your boy, I mean, simunitions, they're not selling to civilians anymore. Sim rounds and UTMs are not doing civilian anymore. So for civilian training companies as well, like I think the airsoft thing is going to be a much more reliable way and easier way for people to get any kind of training in.
Cool. Yeah. And I think that can be the final thoughts for the day because we've been going on quite a bit. We've actually covered some really good ground. It's been good to catch up with you about SHOT.
Yes, it's good to catch up with all you guys too.
Yeah, and to have you on about Laylax and your new adventure. And we look forward to hearing more from you and you pestering me to upload videos in the near future.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to that, man.
Or share videos, I should say, not upload.
Oh, sure.
Content theft.
It's not theft if I don't say it is, so it's fine.
And on that note, thank you for the credit to all the original image holders for the screen grabs that Adam got tonight. If it was your content and you want to sue someone, his name is Adam Kinden and his address is... But yeah, no, massive thank you for your time, Mark, in the middle of your working day. It's been tough trying to get that time together, but we finally got there.
Yes, I know, it has been. 2 time zones all the time. You know, it's kind of crazy. But thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Let's not leave it 6 years next time.
Yes, that's not.
But that's it. So first things first, to wrap up then, where can people find you, Mark?
If you want to follow me, you can follow me at Real Mark West on Instagram. You can follow me there. If you want to find more of our content, you can go to Laylax_international. Sorry, that's the Facebook one. Instagram one is Laylax_official. You can find us there on Instagram. And we have all of our latest news and happenings there. So if you guys want to check either me or the company out, that's where you can find us. YouTube is under just Laylax Official or Laylax International if you want the English content.
Cool.
I just want an Insta, and I already follow you anyway, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't follow Mark?
Yeah.
He's like almost as famous as Kevin.
Yikes. Kevin. Whoa, I wish I was as famous as Kevin. I'm just saying. Toxic.
Yeah. And by now you should know where to find me, Adam and Ailey. If you don't, we'll put all the links on the socials anyway. But that's it from us for this week. I'm actually going to a game this weekend as well. That's unheard of this year.
That's not it for this week, actually, is it? Because we're back
on.
Oh, no,
Thursday. It's not it for this week. No, we will be back on Thursday.
6mm slingers.
Yep. So we've got a guy called Mark coming on to talk about amazing charity work he's doing on Thursday. Another Mark. This is the week of Marks.
It's where it's at.
So that is it for the first half of the week, let's say. We will see you guys Thursday. Until then, stay safe, take care of each other, don't be a dick, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.